Hello, people. I'm getting ready to go under the car, grab my stuff. I better take two of these. Going under the back here and see what we're going to be dealing with. And here's nice. There's the clearance to the motor mount, clearance to the frame. She's hooked up and she's good to go. This one is this one. We'll put an Arrow 15 on here with a 2-inch spacer. We're good to go. The first thing I got to do is to partially strap this back down. It's just miserable out here. This pollen count's so high. It just coats the cars and everything. Okay, this side's still intact. So what I'll do is I will simply hook up the hang on 1 minute, people. Lay this thing down and I can get ready to open up the rear. This is getting up and down is the fun part after a shoulder replacement. I made it. So let me set up a camera so you can see. Put some additional light on the subject. Imagine that. Just let that drip on the wood, it won't hurt anything. I got to get up in there and take a better look at that, people. Oh, that's a nut and a bolt and another nut and a bolt. Okay, it's still over the wood. Interesting. It really is. All this has to come out. This gas tank looks like it's in really good shape. I can't tell if there's anything in it or not. Okie dokie. This is what's up next, people. We'll just flip this over that way so you can see. I'll just drip down the wood. It won't hurt the driveway. Interesting, isn't it? We're going to go up around. I'm going to move the camera slightly. We're going to go up front. Just see if I can't roll around there on my skateboard. Okay. Doodly doody doody. I'm gonna get this thing out of my sight. Here's the spare one. It needs to be gone. Okay. Now, coming in there sideways. Here's an interesting view from this angle. See everything a lot better. I'm really not worried about this. These are really good. I got the cheap ones. Plastic with something to absorb a little bit. And we'll put them down to protect the driveway. Fix this so it doesn't blow up on the camera so you can see. All this has to come out. Every little bit of it. Now this will simply soak in and drip in on the pads there. That'll just soak in the wood. Man, look at that shit. We are going to town here. Come on over. Come on over, baby. Oh. Gotta put down my next puppy pad. This is my oil pad. There. Now it drips down. It doesn't bother anything. It's going to be a totally unique experience to remove this. I'm going to put double jack stands back here for support. I'm going to go to the cross member and the body side mounts at the same time, because there'll be nothing under here. No tires, no rear end, no sway bar, no lever shocks. They're not lever shocks, they're forget what the British call them, dampers. So what we usually do is we start with the parade of the soaking of the nuts and bolts, and we'll get all this done. They're sprayed down real good. Probably just leave the pads here. If they blow out in the yard, who cares? I just don't want this stuff on the driveway. And I'll have to listen to the wife about messing up the surface of the driveway. And the funny part of it is, the guy who's helping me do the welding, fabricator and stuff, used to have a driveway sealing business when he semi-retired. He doesn't do it anymore, but for me, if I gave him the money, he's got all the tools. He'd come over and knock it out for me. I like using people that I know. This battery box here, let's see if I can get a better view of it for you. Right here, this is all got to cut out. It's all coming out. I am still trying to figure out how to put a muffler under this stupid thing. Considering as tight as it's going to be. To put dual exhaust in, I'll show you the problem there. The car's just filled full of challenges. I got to get the rust proofing going. I got to get the seam sealing going. I need to get the center of the car done back to this cross member. And back here, tape this stuff off. I don't want it on the outer edges or in there, just in the centers, because I got to work around the outer edges when I'm doing body work, and then I'll tape it off and do that first. And it'll overspray that stuff that's already on here, and it'll be complete. Tell you what, next up is the gas tank. It's a pain to roll around with this thing. I need to miss Brittany's fuel gauge, fuel line, fuel pump. I'll figure all this stuff out. I'll go look at the book. I'd love to pop this thing open and stick my camera down in it and look around. But the last time I did it, it tried to get stuck. Now, I'm beginning to wonder how much fun this really is. Okay. Ouch! Oh, good, there's nothing in the front. It's down the sides. That bracket's got to come off. Is 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts on this side. I think there's 4 on the other side. It's done dripping on that side, so I'm gonna steal the potty paper so we can spray this side. Okay. And while we're at it, that bolt right there is not even on all the way. Like somebody had it off, gave up before they were done. Let's see what we can do with the other side. You still enjoying this crawl around underneath the car view? That one there. Ah. One there. One there. We're missing one. That one. There it is. We'll just give that a looby-dooby bath right there around that sending unit ring. We'll unhook everything, we'll get the tank down, we'll pop that ring. And then we can drain the tank if it's got anything in it, which is going to be leaded gas from the age. It's what it smelled like when I cut the fuel line. It's got a distinctive smell and odor to it. And basically, use that word a lot, don't I? We just start soaking and soaking and soaking, and then we'll tap a impact socket on them, get a breaker bar, and crack them loose and spray it some more, and then we'll get the impact and run them off. I got all new spring bushings, everything. I'll get these all checked out. Springs look really good, impressive. The rear end mounts, all this stuff's changing. I'll lay this rear end down against the new one so I know approximate where everything's going to be going, the new purchase and everything. Man, it's a pain in the butt to get up. When you got a bad shoulder, you can only use one arm. Oh. Makes it interesting. These pads, they absorbed all that dripping off nasty rust blaster, so it doesn't get on the driveway and get the wife upset with me. We're good to go. I'm just going to leave that can of looby dooby down here because I'll have to lay down and do it again. I'll probably just put the creeper under the car so it doesn't get wet or overheat laying in the sun. Pull the extension cord up and call this a day. Normally I work till 4, 5, or 6 o'clock, but I'm out of stuff to do. I can play around in there on the fender and stuff, and I can get this stuff cracked loose and ready to go. Because once I get the drive line in front, the transmission's in, the cross members in, the LS is bolted in, the motor mounts, and get the wings back on it, I want to drop her down on the ground and see what we got for a height. Bounce the car up and down, roll up and down the driveway a little bit, whatever, to see how it's going to settle down. And I'll take pictures of it from across the yard to see if she's sitting up in the back any, or if she's sitting level. It's important to get the rear end changed because I want the 1-inch little brakes that's on here now. Like I want some meat back here. When we hit some binders, I want to. Plus, I'm going to go from a 5-inch tire to about 8 inches on the ground back here. 7.5, 8 inches. It's going to make a big difference. The whole underneath is going to be totally refabricated back here. I'm not going with a 4-link. I'm not going with all this other stuff these guys are trying to cure their rear end woes in these cars. I got an off the wall crazy ass idea, insane in fact, that I'm going to do. But I got to fabricate it up and get it ready and get everything ready to go in. And then I got to stub in the exhaust system, and then we'll pull back the rear end and the springs and the new shock mounts and the fuel tank being centered. It needs to be centered over. See how much room we got here and over here. I need to center it. I need equal space. This has to come off. That exhaust pipe needs to be right here. One here, one right there. But it's got to be kicked over because I got to get it away from the sending unit. I may put a heat shield up. I got the metal laying here. There's no reason not to. Just to isolate the heat, to move this over. You have the exhaust pipe, and then you got your lines right here. I can attach a heat shield up there to the existing bolts, since I'm not going to use them anymore, and just move the tank over. The only thing I got to do is change the hose for the filler neck. If that makes sense. Try and grab this all at one time. It's hot, it's nasty, and it's hard to breathe out here. Whew. When Jimmy calls me back, we'll discuss the headers. And when my son calls me back about when I get my truck back, find out when his car's going to be done, he says he's supposed to know something